Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. I am Thomas, this is Nose the Human, and welcome to Rome Total War, where tonight we are looking to do a speed run of the Rebel campaign. Utter lunacy. No, the Rebel campaign was an awful lot of fun and pretty darn challenging, if I do say so. So much detail over like every battle and everything. But we're not going to be quite that precise today. We are going to do one simple thing. We are going to try and take Rome, the Roman capital of Rome, as quickly as possible. Now, when I did my full campaign as the Rebels, took over Rome, smashed them away, took over most of the map, and it was 247 BC, quite early in the game when I took Rome. But I reckon we can do it just a little bit quicker than that. I'm sort of looking at the first 10 years, maybe even just the first 10 turns. But to do that, I'm going to need a cunning plan. What is this cunning plan of mine? Well, my cunning plan, it kind of resides around Athens here. Now, Athens is a very important city when you play as the Rebels anyway. You want to create your base around here. But actually, that's not why it's important today. It's important because of the trader. Now, the trader is important because if we go in a build and browser, it means in 5 turns we'll be able to have a market. And the market means we get a spy. And you might be following on to the plan at this point. The spy is important because the spies can open the gates to enemy cities. And obviously, Rome, if we just toggle off for a moment, the fog of war is gone. Rome is quite often left undefended. Now, at the very start, it's got that half stack in it. But Rome will tend to put most of its troops in one stack around that bridge or around the north there, and then leave the city with 1 or 2 units in. So if we're very clever, we'll be able to sneak a boat in here and go and take it. I think that's how old Total Warrior did it on his very old, very original Rome Total War Rebel campaign all those years ago. And, you know, when I did it, I wanted to go and take on the full armies, and that's fair enough. But actually, if we're going to do this as quickly as possible, that might be a good way of doing it. So I'm looking here for Athens to perhaps be a way of doing that. It might not be the quickest way, I will say that now. Now, there aren't many cities on the map that start with a trader. Athens obviously doesn't. It doesn't even have, well, it doesn't have the market, it doesn't have the trader either. There are very few. If we get them available to us, we will use them. Now, none of these other Italian cities have a market at the start. And that means we can't, for example, say Ariminum here had a market, go and take that, get a spy and pounce on Rome. No. We can't do that, you see. So Carthage is one that has a market right at the start. We might not be able to see it at the moment because we're not playing as Carthage. But if we get some troops around this area, if we can nab Carthage, absolutely we can go and get ourselves a spy and send it over. Whether we'll be able to do that in the first 6 turns before the spy over here would be done is another matter. So Athens is kind of our backup plan. It's if we don't happen to get a lucky spawn here, we can still get a spy out of Athens. And hopefully we can then sneak in. We can try brute force, we can try sneaking in. We're just going to have to see what opportunity comes our way. It's all well and good having a spy, but if you don't have an army, we're hardly going to be able to take Rome. And indeed, Rome has a very strong force at the start of the game. You can see here it's nearly a full stack, and these are experienced lads. Remember, this is Rome Total War. Experience is absolutely bananas on toast. You do not want to be facing these chaps with any of your units anywhere near the start of the game. But there is a lucky way that we can work around this, because what you'll tend to find is that Rome does something like this. It will tend to have its full stack, or most of a full stack, over somewhere wandering around the countryside of Latium. And Rome, generally speaking, has quite a small garrison. Perhaps it's to represent that, historically speaking, the army wouldn't cross the Rubicon, the army wouldn't come back into Rome. Whatever the reason is, this is typical of the game. So this means our spy plan really holds more weight than you might realise, because we definitely, if we can get an army here and get the gate open, we don't need an awful lot to actually knock out a few units in the city here. So that's really where my plan comes together. But where exactly are we going to get the troops though? Because, to be honest, as the rebels, you don't have an awful lot of good units. Once again, the answer lies in the Aegean, and over here in Macedonia you have the Cretan archers, and obviously we know that those are absolutely bonkers. And likewise, Halicarnassus will give you some hoplites as will Byzantium. Indeed, actually this Asian Minor region over here is going to give you a lot of good troops that you'll be able to potentially use. And it's awfully convenient because Athens is where we'll get our spy. So we know turn 6 we'll have our spy ready here, and as long as you've got a lucky boat spawn and you're ready to go, we hopefully will have our troops loaded on the boats and they can pick up the spy on their route westward. I can't just rely on that though, I might have some problems with it, so I need to have a little bit of a backup, and that's kind of where Illyria comes in. There are quite a few rebel cities over here, or rebel towns anyway, and these units can prove useful to us. So I'm going to build some forces up around Salona, and between the rebel forces that pop up, maybe a unit Hastati or two, as well as these ones over here, should give me a little bit of extra support if I need any extra troops. Turn 5 proves to be a crucial one for me as I get myself some ships in the Aegean Sea, and that's obviously going to be crucial for me to send my spy westward safely. It also means I can pick up a lot of my troops. I do obviously have a load of decent units over here in Macedonia, some Cretan archers no less, but also in Byzantium here I have some hoplites, and sending them over towards Pergamum where my other troops from Asia Minor have gathered, it means that I have a pretty good little army here that, well, can really be useful. Obviously it's also an extra ship to send towards Athens along with the little fleet I've got here. So this puts me in a very good position heading forward, because obviously I can't afford to lose a single battle with my fleet, otherwise we're going to be sunk. The other thing that happened was this lad over here. Yes, Neoptolemus of Piraeus. Now, this guy isn't strictly necessary for this campaign, but it certainly helps to have a general. It really keeps your army together, and it means I can get any mercenaries should I need them. So he spawned over here. You could have spawned anywhere, but this is quite a useful spot. You can come and join me at Salona. Luckily, I've had a fleet over here, and they are able to ferry over some forces of Roman rebels which have popped up. So it really means that between the forces over here at Salona and the forces in the Aegean, I have a very good plan coming together on turn 5. On to turn 7, and yes, we have got ourselves our spy. Temtipes is here with his 2 subterfuge, and obviously we have our fleets over here with our armies ready to go. One small problem, the Macedonians have turned up, and this is the second time they've actually besieged the city. The first time I managed to fend them off, but the second time they've got a little bit more to deal with, and the problem is I obviously have the army here to deal with them, but I don't want to use up my movement points. I need this army to go westward really, so it does provide me with a little bit of a problem whereby I need to clear these guys out to send my spy onto my ship and westward, but equally I really don't want to use up the movement points, so realistically what I want to be doing here is using just my force from the city. So this is one reason why you'd be wanting to build a unit every turn. The game doesn't really fancy my chances, but I know I can pretty much do the job with this force. You can probably see here from the battle that it's a bit of a stalemate with the Macedonians. A lot of their army is pretty damaged, and I've only got one unit that's actually bothering to fight anymore. At this point I'm just literally telling them to stab as many as they can, because it becomes apparent I'm going to have to use some of my other forces to relieve the city. Obviously these lads have done as much as they possibly can at this point, but they've done enough work that I can just send a couple units to finish the job. Whilst a bit of an annoyance, I was very easily able to clear off the army with some reinforcements and make sure my spy could stroll on westward towards Rome. Turn 9 sees me with the opportunity to train my spy a little bit. His subterfuge was only 2 at the start, and actually Croton proves itself to be far too risky to go and sneak into. But Tarentum gives us a good chance to raise our stats, which obviously is going to help us when it comes to opening the gates of Rome. From Tarentum I can send him on to Capua and on to Rome itself. Now obviously the main forces coming along the south coast there, and the army from Salona is sneaking across the Scipione territory there, because south of Vesuvius it can be picked up by the fleet next turn. That's going to give us a really good chance to get our best army together before the assault on Rome. These lads, however, they might just prove a good decoy and perhaps distract the troops of Rome. The winter of 266 BC sees us finally approach Rome. We have our army here on Neoptolemus of Piraeus on the boat. he is ready to pounce next time. He can land there. In Capua, we have our spy who's been trekking along the towns. He's going to go there next turn, and that should give him a good chance to open the gates for us. This lad is going to come over here, and they're going to go and just distract this army, pull them away from the city. That will just be lovely. So let's end our turn. Obviously, there's a few things that are going to happen in between. Most of it's completely unincidental. Yep, let's go clear us off. Incidentally, actually, if you wish, there is a wave you can do it if the army is standing right next to the city, but obviously you need to race them into the city, etc, etc. You can see there I've used up their movement points by moving those troops around. That's what I wanted to see. I don't know what I've lost here. Oh, that's Marseille gone, which is sad. There we are, those troops left, but they should have done their job by sacrificing their lives and the odd random battle. But honestly, everything else doesn't matter at this point. If you really wanted to do this with, if you really wanted to do this properly as a campaign, obviously you could be doing pretty well across the map at this point. How have we got in Rome? 40%. Okay, so decent chance then when our good chap here attacks. The gate is open. Yes, yes, yes. And obviously my force here is overwhelmingly powerful. I could probably auto-resolve it, but I think for such a silly campaign, it's the start of turn 11, so 10 turns. Just there we are, 5 years into the game. We are about to go and take Rome. We've got Decius Maxentius himself in the city. Himself, as if he matters. He's just a bit old. But he does have all of the, the big full set of cavalry. Gaius Maxentius, I think he's in the pink. Yeah, there's a couple within the pink around here. They normally have that kind of trait as the Roman Senate. A couple of young kids. But there we are. Otherwise, just a unit Hastati of Prince Pro there and a couple of units Hastati. So, yeah, that's it. We should be heading in. Let's take Rome. And because we love irony, right in front of their triumphal arch, their grand statue, and the governor's palace itself, this is where we will slaughter them. Missiles, open fire, all of you. We have a little bit of a hoplite trap here. The javelins in behind. There are actually some of them over here as well, actually, by the Colosseum. Just in case they need a reminder that this is the rebel uprising, their gladiator uprising. Not that we have any gladiators. Well, they're actually coming over here, possibly because they can win this one. I don't know. But for now, we're just going to shoot them. Yes. No. Oh, come and die like true men. Come on, Romans. Pathetic. Are they going to do it? I feel like they're doing it under the arch. It's the correct way to do it. Yep, come into the trap. Here come all the javelins in the world. The Illyrians, the Hastati, they're all on throwing their javelins. Lovely. There's some knights on this side, by the way, so it's not Phalanx over here. But I put the archers here because it should draw them towards these hoplites rather than just the Sam Knights. Put those on defense as well. Honestly, this should just be beautiful. Lovely. Under the arch. Oh, look at all those peeler. Oh, the Pelham there are just beautiful. Slaughtering them. The Sun Knights are holding alright, actually, considering we're throwing all the javelin. Oh, all those javelins just wasted. Okay, you lads get in as well. That's fine. You just give a bit of pushing power. It's going to be a chunky battle here. And can I have some of you... Yeah, throw your javelins in. Get the Cretians back a little bit, please. Get the Barbarian Warlord in there. That is just lovely. Are they doing anything over here? No, we're still just shooting at them from this side. You just shoot those Hastati. That'll be fun and just lovely. I think the cavalry are pretty much dead at this point. Pretty much killed them off. Just a few of them fighting away. There they are. They're fleeing. Yes, he does. Ooh, that was slightly necessarily racist there, but I suppose befitting of the era. You lads have given your lives, but well done, sirs. Don't worry. You can step back now. We'll put the Hastati at the front line instead. That would just be lovely. And some naked fanatics as well. Why not? We need some naked chaps to go and finish the job. The Illyrians just getting pushed by our own men here. Where are you going? Bizarre. Just bizarre. Over here, they're throwing javelins in, but are you throwing javelins on my creations? You despicable fiends. Well, I feel like they are going to fall here, ladies and gentlemen. You can take Rome, it turns out, in 5 years as the rebels. I mean, I've obviously used the spy here to crack it open, but with a lucky army spawn and a bit of pulling them away, I suppose you could do it by attacking an army standing outside. Like a bit like this, I could have attacked that small army on the side, and if I killed all the units, I could have taken Rome. So I suppose in that sense is that you could do it a bit quicker. I guess if you get lucky troops at Carthage, you could get a spy a little bit quicker than I did, but I think that's pretty optimal, what I've been doing here. Getting the spy trained on the way in the cities. Just lovely work. But there we are. Right, I'm going to have to finish this job now, and I think it is simply time for the infantry to come in and finish the job. Come on, infantry, come in and finish the job. All my missiles, shoot into them. And General, come and kill the last of the generals yourself, because that is your job to do. I got a bit lucky with this spawn of this guy. You can easily do it without a general. I didn't actually need to spend money on mercenaries. I thought I might, but in the end, I didn't need it. Obviously transported my army from up north? From Athens. Here we are. The general himself is into battle now. He's going to go and slaughter them. Just beautiful. And here we are. All units then. Yeah, all units in on them. We'll just... These guys will just come down with it. Are these just 3 separate units? All just one of them left. Those cowardly fiends. He says as he does. I like to imagine that was our own general there.
It is time to press the attack.
It is time indeed. It's just these... I want to leave just these 2 lads for the end. Oh no, they're coming in. Cretians. He's going to charge into the Cretians. Shoot them down, lads. There we are. Yes, the Cretians have done their job. But I think at this point the barbarian cav might just chop down the last remaining Roman king. There we are. Rome will be amazed. The anarchy shall rule, ladies and gentlemen. Oh yes. Oh yes. It's not quite 7 full stack armies at the city like on my full playthrough. But there we go. You can do that in 5 years as the rebels. Rome is ours. Obviously we exterminate. But the best thing about doing it this way is this army becomes mine. It got rid of quite a few of the units, but wow, 8 experience. That is just spectacular. Look at those 4 experience to starty. I can go and destroy the rest of my Roman friends now. That would just be beautiful. And there we are. SPQR gone. It is 265 here. What are we on here? Well, we actually only have 14 regions. I've kind of thrown most of it away. But my money's still good. And Rome, most importantly, are gone. That is just magnificent. Well, there you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Today we asked, how hard can it be to take out Rome as the rebels in around 10 turns? And it turns out surprisingly simple. Surprisingly easy. I honestly barely had to fight any battles there whatsoever. And really with a bit of simple manoeuvring of my troops and some basic setup for the campaign, really the plan just fell perfectly into place. And to be honest, one of the really most striking things for me is that it wasn't to the detriment of the whole wider campaign. I didn't have to ruin everything to do it. I kind of ignored most of the map, obviously, just for this experiment. But if I were to do it again and try and min-max the campaign, this would be an integral part of it. I could use the troops in Salona to take Rome and use the Aegean forces to do what they did in my original campaign and take the Aegean. But there you have it. So how hard is it to take Rome in 10 turns? Well, not that tricky at all, it turns out. But for now, I will leave you. I am Thomas, this is To Nose to Hearing, and I've been playing Rome Total War's Rebel Speedrun. I thank you, and good night. They are just throwing themselves to their deaths. Woohoo! Chunky, chunky, chunky death. Oh, that wasn't a very good charge. Oh, we're flying! There is no one near beside him. Yeah, axe in the head! Axe in the head. Yeah, beautiful.